how can you use your skills to be a better activist? So Absolutely. Go ahead, Annie.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. It's great to be on your show. Thank you. The artwork that I do comes from my heart. That's a skill that I was born with, and I love to express because it shows the visual connection. But most importantly, when it comes to talking, I know we all get butterflies in our stomach, and I used to be the shyest girl in the world. I never wanted to speak out because, I was so shy that I would make a mistake. But what motivates me truly, what I can say, the strength that comes to me is from the animals and the desperation that they are in, the situation they are in, the emergency they are in. If we see a child being abused, an animal being abused, we speak up. We don't think how shy we are, how, what we're going to sound like. We just speak out to help at that moment. That's the energy that I use, regardless of the discomfort, the time, the energy it takes. We have to remember the victims. The victims. What would the victim want us to say? And that's what motivates me. Fact after fact, I see.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the facts of the Ballona wetlands. What's going on there? I know that Jane Blaise Mitchell had written an article, right? Yes. And I'm looking at the article here, and one of the things that it says is the secret agenda of helping the fossil fuel industry, and that they have already gotten permits when this hasn't even been voted on. So maybe you both can address that for us.
One of the things that has been happening, they have an old pipeline, the gas company, which is fossil fuel. And what they want to do is renew it, regenerate more, make more money, and etc. We've been fighting this for years, for like maybe 4 years. I believe we were there together the last time we were able to do it in person. You were there too.
That's right, I was. But you guys are really taking the ball and running with that. Just to help our viewers, Annie, see what we're talking about, and Mike, we want to have you weigh on this, but let's continue with Annie for the moment. So some of the people watching this show aren't aware of what's going on at the Ballona wetlands.
So what's been going on is that the secret agenda, the hidden agenda is the fossil fuel. They want to drill, they want to bulldoze and bring up their old pipelines into updated new one. Because this is moneymaker for them. But they have been there illegally from the get-go, from what I understand. This is why we've been fighting for more than 4 years. And Molly Baser is, of course, very actively. She's the one who got us involved in the first place when we first met together. And we know all the tactics they use when they don't even want us to talk. They cut off our time to 2 minutes and then 1 minute. Oftentimes, they don't even allow us to speak up as the public to try and protect. Therefore, we've decided, my big brother Michael and my fur baby Chanel and I and Molly, we've decided that we will be protesting again and again and again. So we've been protesting for more than 4 years now, telling them, you should shut down this facility, the gas company. Let's go with natural, go green enough already, and let us be able to enter Ballona where it's supposed to be for public. And the thing is that once they bulldoze, this is, an explosive, crazy thing that, remember at the Porter Ranch, when we had,
gas.
It's the same thing that's ready to happen at any time.
And let me just read this for the audience. Danger of floods, leaks, and blowouts. State Senator Ben Allen and LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn have told Governor Newsom they're worried about the dangers of the facility. The LA County Democratic Party and 8 Westside Democratic clubs have passed resolutions calling for this facility to close, and they're still open?
Yeah, that's the thing. That is the frustrating thing. We've been fighting a fight against the big industry who's making big money, and that's what they're... And the worst part of it, Lindsay, is that they use words we use, like, we're just gonna update and regenerate or renew. No, you're not. You are going to destroy. You're bulldozing. You're going to be killing, putting a death sentence on 1,700 species.
here's the thing. When I went and read the article, I don't know if it was this one, and I know you were in another article, Annie, you were quoted. I saw there was a comment by an individual, and they came, like you just said, Annie, they came from the standpoint, they said that the wetlands are all full of rotting plants. I'm paraphrasing, folks. And what they're doing is going in and doing a renovation. But what I believe you're saying is let nature take its course. Nature will correct anything wrong. Is that what you're trying to say, more or less, about that part of it? That
Absolutely.
they want us, and they're using that as an excuse.
Absolutely. And as Jane says, there is gentle restoration. And Roy, Roy Vanderhook, he's the scientist who's been studying, biologist scientist who's been studying the Bayona for years. And Marcia Hanscom has been giving tours. She's very connected. She's amazing. So they've been fighting this for years, and they are trying to stop this destruction from happening. Everybody needs to vote for Molly Basler. She's running for city council for 2022, I believe. So we need to all support her in every way we can, because the more people we have there that care about the environment, the animals, and the human health, she's all about that. She basically is running and needs our support urgently. The hearts that you see is made by her. The artwork is my work. But she's been throughout the 4 years we've been protesting, and she's been there throughout all of this. And as I said, she's the one who got us motivated from the get-go to
like when you go to these places, and it just seems like the odds, I hate to put it this way, but it's really difficult. They have all these lawyers, they have all these PR people that have a spin to put on it, and they have money behind them. And usually we're a group of ragtag protesters. How do you keep going doing that? Or how do you approach that and feel at the end of the day that, I've done something?
Well, the thing is, we actually have been encouraged by some recent victories. We've been very active in the anti-fur movement, and there have been like 4 or 5 retailers that have dropped fur, and I believe it's directly as a result of grassroots activism. There's a campaign that's kind of like very strategic, run by a group called Coalition to Abolish the Fur Trade, and what they've done is they've gotten together with other activists from other cities. And so what they've done is that we have multiple disruptions and protests of retailers that are selling fur. And we do it all over the country. And so eventually it gets back to headquarters. And so far it's worked for Saks Fifth Avenue. That's one of the ones that we were heavily involved with. Even Annie and I did, and Chanel did separate disruptions. Yes.
These are animals that all have been killed so that we could take their skin. This is wrong. We need to stop. We need to stop the torture of animals. Thank you. Animals are tortured to death, so we take their skin. So we take their fur. This is not acceptable. It is 21st century. We need not to hurt the animals.
Neiman Marcus. Neiman Marcus has blood on their hands.
Neiman Marcus has blood on their hands.
Neiman Marcus has blood on their hands.
Neiman Marcus, yeah, we've tracked letters. Nobody cares.
Neiman Marcus, stop selling fur.
It's not you, but those are all animals. Animal fur, animal skin. Babies like my baby. Look at this. This baby, imagine if somebody skins my baby. Would that be okay?
Neiman Marcus, stop selling fur. Fur trade. Death trade. Fur trade, death trade.
Thank you so much for having the courage to speak up like that. And Chanel, thank you. Where's Chanel? Anyway, Chanel is a great rep for animal rights. And that kind of just leads into the conversation of how you use your creativity. And I think, for me, I think that's a way to keep you inspired. Like, I know, Annie, you're a songwriter, and Michael, you guys will come back another time and perform for us some of your pieces. But you know, myself, I just started. I've always loved singing, playing piano. So for 2 years, I've been studying with another vegan. By the way, people, always hire a vegan if you can. So Rama Saber is my piano teacher. And I want to do the same thing, Annie. I want to start writing songs. But the thing is, no matter what you do, whether you're an artist, whether you're a songwriter, all that stuff is ways to help yourself feel a little better, a little more uplifted, and then to get your strength going, your adrenaline going. What do you guys, I'd like you both to comment on that, if you would. Annie,
Yeah,
start.
Michael, you want to say something? You can go ahead if you
Yeah,
want to.
I just wanted to say that, yeah, music is actually a very powerful way to get the message across.
All the different platforms that could be used, music and art, they're very powerful because they directly reach out to people's hearts. You know, like you don't have to really describe or know the same language. You can hear
Right.
music, you relate to it internationally. You see art, you relate to it internationally. It taps into our emotions, our soul. Oh my gosh, there's so much here. There's from the tabbouleh to the curried rice to mac and cheese, veganized, of course, vegan cheese.
Wow.
There's the yam potatoes sautéed in garlic, and I have the beet salads that I make. I have the different salads, the soups, the stews that I make. I make so many different varieties. Sauteing vegetables, moussaka. My father also introduced us. He had international taste. We would, if we would go out, it would be a Japanese restaurant. It would be Moroccan restaurant. It would be Chinese. It could be, you know, different from different parts of the world. And he loved it. German, this, that, whatever was available. Those taste buds and the spices really inspired me to cook internationally. So my background is mixed, and therefore I feel like when I use all the herbs of Mother Earth, I am a true earthling. And
That's
what inspires
wonderful.
me, you know?
Yeah, and then so then you went ahead and veganized them, right? Because they
All
weren't
of them. But what the challenge is, I would tell people whatever they want, I could try and veganize it for them. As a matter of fact, the moussaka I made on Jane Unchained show is veganized. Next, I probably am gonna make the oven eggplant kebab oven cooked.
For a second, maybe just talk about the meat textures. Like people wonder how you make it, you know, how, when you're veganizing them. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have multiple choices. One could be the tofu. We can take the tofu and add herbs to it, crumble it, cook it, and mix it with the proper herbs, the garlic, the onion. Those are the things that actually give us the texture. And you can add the sauces you like. If you like barbecue sauce, for example, you could do it. By the way, but I also use, you know what else I use, which is really awesome. I love it. Uh, Watermelon.
Really?
Watermelon as well. Yes, and the way the flavoring I do, and the way I cut it, it seems like it's little bits of meat. I get even like started when I'm eating, and I'm like, this feels too much like a meat. You know, that's
But
how.
isn't it too sweet, like for meat?
What I do is that I don't take the red part of it. I cut and I take the one between the skin and the actual red part. So
Wow.
the whitish pink part is what I take. Maybe I should do that on, you know, the
You
show.
should.
And I cut it into small pieces, and then once I do that, I saute it. I saute it, maybe if you can saute it for a few hours with soy sauce, garlic, and the different herbs you like, and then
Great.
saute and leave it in the fridge for a few hours, and then bring it back. Amazing flavor. You could cook
Wow.
it and just eat it, and it tastes like meat. It's just amazing, really great. But also mushrooms. Oh my God, mushrooms are heavenly. You can make that base like a meat flavor with all the different mushrooms from shiitake and all the different, you know, portobello. They're all incredible tasting, amazing tasting food.
Yes. And I want to show, speaking of food, this artwork where you combined activism I mean, it's really, really unique. If you read it, it says boiled alive baby pig marinated. I mean, it's pretty harsh. I don't want to turn people off by reading it too much, but it's a really ingenious idea. It would definitely catch people's attention. And all your other signs also are amazing. So Annie, one of the big parts of your activism, of course, is Chanel, and she inspires you as well as she's actually an activist herself. So how did you, first of all, did you rescue her? How did that all come about? How did you find her? How, talk a little bit about her.
Chanel is a rescue in a bad situation where she was stuck in a horrible, garage situation, and I was ready to rescue a baby from a shelter. Honestly, there are so many of them in the shelter. However, this baby cried out to me, and she became my inspiration, my strength, and my the energy that also changes people. She in my arms, people go, oh my gosh, even if don't want to pay attention to our protests, they always connect with her. Babies and animals always get attention. Therefore, as they would approach and start loving her, believe it or not, so many times people that were passerbys that wanted to go, let's say, to Neiman Marcus, this woman came and joined us. She took one of the banners and she took upon herself to be on the street showing people that this is wrong. To the Channel 5 came and they wanted to do a clip, but when they came, most people were gone, and they were puzzled. And I said, don't worry, we're here. And I had my signs that I have made. They were excited. They had us. We stood there with the signs. Yeah, those signs. And they actually did live for almost about an hour. They kept it on until these signs, because there's so much message there that animal agriculture is destroying our planet, causing deforestation, ocean acidification, habitat extinction 200 daily. The species extinction 200 daily, habitat extinction for animals and humans, causing all sorts of enslavement days. But they use the excuse of fossil fuel that's so out of reach to try and excuse everything else that is really the cause. Fossil fuel, by the way, is fueled by the animal agriculture from the big pharma that makes the medications. The conventional medicine is made with fossil fuel that is forced upon the animals. Big pharma is involved. How? Well, antibiotics, more than 80% is pushed into the farmed animals, and all the other drugs and formulas and etc. But also they are the GMO makers.
Yeah, so basically we went to Jane Fonda's, I think it's called Fire Drill Friday.
Yes.
Yes.
And well, we had there was a lot of people there that were speaking out with us. There was I think Joaquin Phoenix was there and other people.
Yes.
So we actually that was actually a great event, because we were able to, I think, get the message across to some people that it's not just fossil fuel that's ruining this planet. It's our treatment of animals is the main issue here. It was a 48-hour event by Direct Action Everywhere. We protested it was held at a pig slaughterhouse in Vernon, California.
We played music with my mother, stop eating animals. I had so many different songs that I've written, and so did Michael. So we performed, and there were other performers as well. The 48-hour vigil was really important, because during that time, they tried to rescue some piglets, and I believe her name, they were called Greta, but they were not allowed. They locked them in, and etc.
And they had many things going on. People were camping out there. And anyway, it was all to highlight the Rose's Law, which is actually, we were trying to push to get an animal bill of rights. So animals have the same rights as we do, and they cannot be oppressed and victimized. So that's the main reason why they had the event. They had many people that showed up, and actually there were a couple events before I got chained to the slaughterhouse gate. There was actually 6 activists that got into the facility the day before, and they actually were trying to rescue the pig. I think Annie mentioned it, named Greta, but they were unsuccessful. And then the night that we chained up, there was actually 3 things going on. there was two people on top of the facility, the building, and they unveiled a big banner, Rose's Law banner. And then there were 5 activists, and this is really amazing. They got inside to the facility again, and they chained themselves to what's known as the kill floor, the actual area where the animals are slaughtered. And they chained themselves to the machinery so they could not proceed. We actually chained ourselves together in front of the gates where the trucks drive in with the baby pigs. And so they could not, the trucks that came could not enter. They had to go on the street and wait, whatever. But anyway, we stayed there for hours and hours, at least 8 hours, I think. And it's a very empowering experience. The thing is, I've been there many, many times before bearing witness. And I know that if I was on the other side of that slaughterhouse gate, I would want someone to be there and fight for me, even if it meant risking their freedom. And so we were all arrested. And but we actually got a lot of coverage in the press. And so it was well worth it.
We as activists, we are forced to take these actions. We are forced because we're not being heard. DXC wrote letters to put a referendum or to stop the growing, expanding, and opening up new slaughterhouses because it's directly linked to environmental destruction. All this, when it's being ignored, they're forcing us as activists to take other measures so that we could get their attention, we could get the public's attention and support to stop these horrors from happening, because animals being killed is causing a lot of, zoonotic diseases, environmental impacts that are happening. And Dr. Silas Rao's white paper talks about this.
Here, I want to just jump in here and ask people, we're now on the website for DXE, and there is a petition right now.
Yes.
And this is the DXE exposes mass killings due to COVID-19, and you can sign this petition, folks.
Yeah.
That's an actionable item. I'm going to put a link in the comments so that you will have a chance to
yes, thank you.
Take action on this.
Please
and we're gonna
sign, everybody.
Yes, please sign. In this picture here, I see Annie at an HSUS protest to fix Project Chimps, and you're here with Corey Mack.
Yes.
You guys want to talk about that a little bit?
Okay. Corey Mack from Progress for Science, an amazing person. She has been spearheading the Project Chimp here, the same as our turn, as Michael mentioned, in New York. Donnie Moss has been spearheading it there. They do such incredible, because they live there. Some family members, they actually go ahead and protest there. But the thing is, they've been protesting in New York, and we've been protesting here. These 77 chimps that had been experimented on and treated horrifically, of course, kidnapped and in cages and all that. Supposedly, they are being released, and these released chimps are forced to be caged all over again in the humane system.
Yeah, actually, Annie and Chanel and I actually tabled an event for PETA at a Morrissey concert. Morrissey, of course, is an ardent animal rights activist. So we gathered signatures to ask Canada Goose to stop selling fur on their clothing, and we got quite a few signatures. Annie got a lot of signatures. Anyway, so what happened was basically they had 2 activists from Canada, Len Goldberg and Ashley Oley. They delivered them to the CEO's house in person. That was 2 years ago. But finally, we got some results, and they finally dropped fur. So I'm so happy about that. So it's the persistent efforts of PETA. PETA has gone after Canada Goose for so long, and it finally paid off.
And Mike, I think you said the key words there, the persistence. All these campaigns, and I say that when people come on the show all the time, you guys have to come back on. And one thing I love to tell people is I share this out continually. From this broadcast, that's not where it stops the one time it plays. And we all have to keep repeating the message. It's like advertising in a sense. I hate to compare it that way, but you've got to get it until it clicks in people's minds. And it is repetition. And you guys are both so wonderful and tenacious about the way you approach it. Also so creative. I love all the artwork that Annie does. I love your music, both of you. I mean, your dedication. It's just fantastic. What message would you like to deliver to everyone as an activist?
Yes, I would like to just say that if you can, everyone should try and be active. I know being vegan is amazing, but the next step would be to go out and actually use your voice to try and help animals. So that's basically my message is that, and also you don't need a large group. Annie and I are organizers with an organization called Los Angeles for Animals, and we've organized protests before, and that's great to have a large group of people. But you actually do not need that. You can actually do a protest with Annie and Chanel and I have done many protests, just us three. You don't need a large group.
All sorts of drugs. This is about money. It's not about your health. Please awaken your hearts and souls. We're compassionate beings. We're not beings to eat animals. It is killing us. It's killing our environment. 91% of the environment is being destroyed by the animal agriculture. Please don't take my word for it. Watch What the Hell on Netflix. What the Hell on Netflix and count down to your zero. And you will hear the doctors, the scientists. Check them on YouTube. They are reversing heart disease. They are reversing diabetes type 2. This is not miracle. They do not sell supplements.
You can even do it with one person and your phone. So as long as you can do something and you can post it on social media, that's very powerful. It will actually inspire other people to do the same. So that's our message to you is that don't feel that you have to have a large group of people. Don't feel that you need to be a great speaker. All you have to do is go out there with a sign and just speak out for animals, and it will touch